like helping my daddy.
Howdy folks, it's Brian, South Georgia Hydroponics. It's Sunday, June 12th, I think. Today I went over to the big garden, where we have a bee yard over there also, and I've got some beehives, and I wanted to check on our pollinators, our wonderful little bugs that get out and make sure that our fruits and our vegetables get pollinated and grow us food. I'm always telling you to get out and grow something. Well, there's something else I'm growing. I'm growing bees. You can do it too. I hope y'all enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Y'all get out and grow something. Enjoy.
Terry Chapman here, Super Bee Supply, out at the bee yard with my buddy Brian Pruitt from South Georgia Hydroponics. He is going in the hive right now. I'm going to flip you around and see if we can catch a glimpse of it.
Howdy folks, this is Brian from South Georgia Hydroponics. I've got Terry out here from Super Bee Supply. We are in the pollinator yard. We're just going through some hives. We're actually going to be splitting this hive out today. We found some swarm cells in there, and I got me a new jacket. Check it out. It breathes. I'm still sweating because it's 150 degrees out here, but I can feel the air coming through this, and this is sting proof and
Sting resistant.
excuse me, sting resistant. And I've been known to get stung a couple of times. So we're going to see what happens today. See y'all later. Howdy folks, it's Brian from South Georgia Hydroponics again. We are going through another one of my hives, and we went in this hive last week, and best I can remember we found swarm cells and queen cells, and I think what we're seeing right here on this hive, and I think Terry can confirm this or not, see where they're cleaning this honey out? I believe what has happened is this hive has swarmed. And what happens right before they swarm, they'll come in and they'll just gorge on honey. And they need all that stores for wherever they get so that they can start building comb.
I think that is a strong possibility, especially looking on population, because this hive was overflowing, if I remember right. So there's a good chance you swarmed. The only, another good possibility would be we're into a dearth and they're actually eating their stores because they're not able to collect the nectar. But judging by the population, I think swarm is a pretty good guess.
This is all just full of honey.
Here's swarm cells. Let's see. We have one that is still closed, still capped. So we'll keep an eye out for one that is uncapped. But if capped cells doesn't mean that the other queen is still here. They usually swarm within a couple days of the new queen hatching. So that could be the only swarm cell and her still be gone.
There are definitely no eggs. No new eggs. And I'm not seeing any larvae or brood. But man, have I got some honey here.
Which and that's also typical of a pre-swarm hive. The queen will shut down laying prior to swarming.
And once again, they cleared out a tremendous amount of honey from that frame. That frame was just like that.
Thirsty girls.
So I'm going to put that back together. Just put that frame right back here.
You want to look down below and see if you have any capped queen cells, or you will just want to let it ride?
Very good idea. Oh, mercy. Hot. See how I'm trying to get that blade in there so I can, if you just heard that little pop, that's that propolis popping. And like I said, this is where these hives just take abuse. And every beekeeper will tell you, that right there is where you wear a box out.
Having that rabbited section actually connected to this top finger joint or box joint is actually what drastically increases the strength of that corner.
Got it locked up pretty good, Terry.
There's no shortage of pine around here, and that's a main source of propolis. The little bugs that live on pine trees, I believe they're beetles, eat the sap and actually excrete a similar substance, and the bees use that to make propolis. And we're next to hundreds of acres of pine trees, so they should be able to glue it up.
Looks like they're just packing pollen and honey, brother. I'm not seeing a whole lot of anything else. Let's see what we got here.
I want to say, if I remember right on this hive, you just now will probably be starting to get towards the brood.
That's correct. No eggs, no brood. Do you see a queen cell over there?
No, sir.
Always be careful when you're messing with your frames, folks. And I'm going to tell you this from experience. If you have queen cells on your frames, don't flip that frame upside down. You're killing your queens. If you flip that queen cell upside down, she drowns.
That is an enormous amount of pollen. That frame is covered.
Wow. I'm not sure if you can hear this, folks, but this is the queenless roar that you hear people talk about sometimes. Lots and lots of pollen.
Here are your queen cells.
And I've got a queen cell over here as well.
I've got probably 6 over here, just out of this 8.
2 over here. So I'm satisfied that we've got enough queen cells that we're going to create a queen very soon, and she'll go out and do her dirty dance, and I'll get the laying.
For the beekeepers out there, this is the point in which you want to be careful with your hive getting backfilled, getting locked up with honey, because without that laying queen, they don't get that instruction, if you will, that pheromone to tell them to leave the queen space for eggs, and they will backfill the entire brood chamber with honey, and then you become honey bound. And once your queen is bred, she won't have anywhere to lay, and you can lose your hive over it if it's weak and small. A bigger hive, you're gonna have major setbacks.
I need the inner cover.
Another thing to note, not everyone has this type of inner cover, but it comes with a grooved section out. You can flip that over where it's face down and pull your telescoping outer cover back, and it gives the bees a top entrance. Or you can flip it this way and push your telescoping outer cover forward, and it closes that off. So the inner cover itself gives you the option of a top entrance.
Terry, would you say that's a really good option when you're making honey? That way it gives the bees less travel space to start packing honey away in your supers? Absolutely.
It increases honey production for 2 reasons. It makes the hive itself more efficient. Because it has direct access to the honey, it doesn't have to cross the brood chamber every time. and also because it gives you ventilation, and you have more bees working on honey, nectar, pollen, and brood instead of bees hanging out on the front porch because the hive's getting too hot.
Well, they're not hanging out on the front porch, that's for sure.
We can show you what that looks like though, because I do have some of that. It's called bearding. And this is what a hive looks like. This is actually washboarding. So it's similar to bearding, but you can see how they're spaced out and they're rocking back and forth. But when you see a lot of bees hanging out on the front and they're all clumped together, that means you either have too many bees in the box, or they're having a problem with ventilation. But it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes a really strong colony will stay happy that way and continue and perform well.
So this is my last hive, folks. I can't remember, Terry, when we was this a split that we created off of the Sioux box?
Yes, it was.
That's what I thought it was.
And I believe it had a queen in it at one point.
Let's see what we got going on, folks. Population is not bad. Let's see what we got here. I don't see any eggs.
Which is not a horrible thing, because that was the outside frame, and queens tend to not lay on the outside. The closer you get to the middle, usually the more important it is.
Now we're looking good.
You got it.
We have larvae and some cat brood.
All right.
But I see no eggs on this frame.
Flip it back around and let them see it. What do we got here?
There's a little small brood pattern. It's actually not bad if you look at all the larvae in there.
All right.
I was just kind of looking for the queen. We do have cat brood here. We do have larvae. And once again, this is natural foundation. When dealing with natural foundation inside of a frame, once again, a lesson to learn and learn from my mistakes. You can't flip this like you do a foundation. This can only be turned this direction. Once it's in this position, you can turn it around like this. But if you try to flip that sideways, you'll break that comb out of there and ruin it. So we're looking pretty good. The pattern is okay, I would say. Nothing to write home to mom about yet. But it's consistent. Every frame has brood and larvae. And Terry, you know, do you think we might be getting ready to run out of room here?
Depends on what we see going all the way across.
1, 2, 3. We'll go all the way across. Let's see if I've got eggs here.
You know, the general rule is going to be once you've taken up about 75 to 80% of a box, it's time to add another, or even possibly 2 more, depending on how fast and how strong your colony is, how fast it grows.
I don't see any eggs on here.
But one thing to consider too is
Yes, there are.
sometimes you have to watch. You have to be real vigilant on your swarm prevention, because your bees might be 60% of the box, but if they have outran the wax and they can't produce wax like now in the dearth, sometimes bees will swarm just because they feel like they've ran out of room because there's nowhere to put nectar, honey, pollen, or eggs.
Excuse me. It's hard to see what's going on in there. Once those cells get worn in and they get dark, it's hard to see those eggs in there. But you know, Terry, she's got a lot of room to lay. So
It looks like she's doing good.
looks like she's doing fine. We'll just leave her be. That was a bee joke, by the way. We'll leave her be.
I think they see what you did there.
I'm actually gonna, Terry, I'm gonna put this this frame that was on the outside. I'm gonna put it on the inside and see if she'll lay in that and see if they'll finish building out this other side over here.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks. I think that's going to be it for this week on South Georgia Hydroponics. Thank you, Terry, for coming and hanging out with us in the bee yard and showing us what you got and letting me share what I have.